we haven't really gotten started in the 21st century, but it looks like it might be coming. We're revving up to it. And so Jung's point is that, oh, by the way, in the physical world, there ain't no God up there. There ain't no God down here. Or there ain't no Satan down here. Okay? God is within us. And so we either feel God, as is Satan, right? God is in us, Satan is in us. And
equal powers?
Equal power, sure.
50-50?
Right. Sure.
Theoretically, yes.
Psychologically.
Well, I mean,
for the
purposes of simple discussion, they're equal. Okay, now.
As a heuristic.
Pardon?
As a heuristic, yes. A rule of thumb.
Right. But in reality.
But society wouldn't allow them to be equal. They would rub you out if you were.
Yeah, I mean, the evil side would rub us all out if
well, you wouldn't be allowed to.
Well, yes, you would if you had nuclear war.
Yeah, but I'm thinking if you walked down the street and slapped a couple of people in the face, and then you know.
Well, I have the big picture.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, Satan has 90% control, right?
Well, it looks like if it were.
In the case of a nuclear war,
I don't know.
Well,
it's
this
almost
is
like talking statistics. It was like one would.
Okay, well, let's talk about nuclear war, John, since that's the issue. Okay, and we're very close to it because we have North Korea and Donald Trump playing chicken.
Russia.
Well, but in terms of our current moment today, it's the U.S. versus North Korea. I'm not sure Russia would get into it or China would get into it if something happened. But we do have sort of a standoff between Kim Jong-il and Donald Trump right now. Okay, now, what's going to happen? Well, if we just rely on the craziness of the two parties, I don't know, flip a coin. Could be either one. But if you look at the transpersonal self, then I can tell you what will happen. Okay? Because in the transpersonal self, we have layers upon layers upon layers. So it's like, kids run around and they say they don't believe in technology while they're staring at their iPhone, right? That iPhone took 100,000 people to build it, one way or another. So many people have touched it. Okay, and so what I know is that the leading advisors to Donald Trump are 3 4-star generals. There are actually 3 Marine 4-star generals and 1 Army 3-star general, McMaster. Okay, and I know what their training is. Okay, because I attended their training. I went to the Naval War College, but I'm sure it's the same in the Army War College. And it was an Army Major General who told me this. Okay, because years ago, in the 1980s, I went to the National War College. And at the National War College, they have all services attending. So, and it happened that one of my classmates was an Army Major General. And at the time, I was worried about War Games, okay, the movie with, who's the guy that had, yeah, that's right, with Matthew Broderick.
Oh, the thing that made
there was
made a joke out of what you could do with computers,
right?
What hackers could do.
What hackers could do, and what that a
Scared
computer could misguide you and tell you you're under attack and you're not really. Okay, which is a concern. It's a concern even today. But so I was worried about that. I was personally worried. I was a lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps. I was at this National War College, which is one of the top senior schools in the U.S. military. And I mentioned this to this major general who was there. And he says, "Oh, you don't have to worry about that." I said, "Why?" And he says, "Because we have a national policy, which is that we don't launch on warning." Okay? We don't launch on warning. And what that means is, and he further explained that the United States would never launch a nuclear weapon unless one had been used against us to effect. In other words, if there had been a nuclear explosion in the United States anywhere, then yes, we would launch full on. But we will never do it on a threat or on a mistake or any other such thing. If somebody destroys Seattle, you can bet on it. They're going to be dead. Right? And so I believe that those men would never allow Donald Trump under any circumstances to launch a nuclear weapon. And without a real provocation, without a huge provocation, and
Something bigger than his ego.
something bigger than his ego, no doubt about that. And there's this myth about the football that the military aide carries around next to the president, and there's some idea that the president could open the briefcase and push a button and hit anywhere in the world. No, that's not going to work that way. I mean, people have to target these things. People have to cooperate all the way along the line. That's the transpersonal self. And there are so many layers of that transpersonal self in the United States military that there is no way that Donald Trump is ever going to do that on a whim. Okay, that's just not going to happen. Right? I mean, I'm not saying, if Kim Jong-il were to attack Guam, even Guam, which is an American territory, then yes, we'll probably turn North Korea into a parking lot. Certainly Kim Jong-il will be dead.
I just don't think he wants to do that. I think he just wants to appear as a threat. He wants to be big.
Which one?
North Korea.
Yeah. Right.
And
Well, he wants to keep testing.
Well, he wants to keep he wants to keep his world
The same.
No, he wants everybody to know he's there. He wants to exert and have that power. And he's sort of drawing, he went out to see who he could draw in, and he drew in Trump, of all people, of course. Because Trump's
doesn't know anything.
Yeah. I mean, Trump is a perfect foil. So.
Yeah. Trump is like the kid who's looking at the iPhone and has no idea.
Well, let's back up on the history of that, though. Because that goes back to the early 90s when the statement was made by the Republican, I don't know if it was a Republican or who was in office at that time, but there was the three evil axes
Oh, that
of
was
evil.
George W. Bush, yeah.
Okay, so one was Iraq, the other was North Korea, the other was Iran. They're intent on muzzling those three, and Iraq is out of the picture, although it's going nuts. But that goes back way before Trump.
Well, that's right. That goes back way before Trump.
This is a plan.
No, I'm just.
Well, this is a strategy to keep us in liquid war, okay? But the reality is, in all the years that we've been at war in Iraq and in the Middle East now, which is now 25 years for crying out loud, 26 years, it's a quarter century. And, we've been over there one way or another blowing things up. But in all that time, we've never used a nuclear weapon. Okay, never. And, you know, I doubt that there's ever been even thought to use a nuclear weapon. I mean, yes, there's a thought in the sense that we have people trained in the triad, but besides training people in the triad, nobody ever thought that we were going to attack any of those three countries. Okay, now it's a possibility. I acknowledge that now we've whipped up North Korea to the point that, you know, it might happen.
Yeah, I just don't think North Korea will provoke. I think
All
we'll
it
see.
takes is a Gulf of Tonkin. An excuse.
Right. No, that's something else.
That's all it takes.
Yeah,
that-
but
that's
we're not
fabricated.
hearing about anything in the Arabian Gulf about people challenging the Fifth Fleet in the Arabian Gulf. I mean, the Iranians aren't doing that. They know about the Gulf of Tonkin, so they're not challenging us. Okay, yes, there have been some challenges in the past,
But yeah,
but what?
nothing. I just think you've got some personalities on a world stage, and they're playing their, you know.
Yeah, they're
I
playing.
think you basically got a neocon strategy. I don't think it's just Trump's strategy.
No, I don't.
Well,
think,
that's
I'm not even
right.
talking about
That's
Trump.
right.
I'm talking about the little guy over there.
Yeah.
The Rocket Man.
Oh.
I think he just wants to be. He wants to strut on the stage, and this is his way of doing it. And Trump's playing to it. I don't think he has any intention of blowing anybody up
Yeah.
or getting blown up.
You'd think if they were intent on delimiting this problem or de-escalating this problem, they would just go like
Ignore him.
assassinate him or something.
Why not just ignore him?
Sure. Well,
Because
Trump
he's
is
just
not
doing it for-
interested in
He's doing
ignoring.
it for his people. He's got his core group, and he looks like he's on the world stage, this little tiny country. And then you got Trump.
Well, he's developing missiles and he's developing
Well, and-
nuclear weapons.
Well,
I
that's
think
how
he
you-
let- think he that he
But what do you-
exploded hydrogen bombs.
what
so
do you
this is
gain
Right.
by-
So what's going to happen?
What do you gain by blowing anything
I'm
up?
not saying
Right.
anything can be gained. I'm just saying he is more. He
I
is
just
more
think
of a
he's-
real threat. in their
Yes, he is.
perception
But he wants
He
to
is a
appear to
real
be a
threat.
than his
There is
father
no
was.
doubt. You're right.
But I
You're
don't
right.
think he wants. I think he just wants to appear that way. I don't think he really wants to do anything. I
He
think
wants
Well-
to build his arsenal and just like have
he
it
wants
ready.
to be a world player. He wants to play on that
Oh, I don't
level.
disagree with you.
Yeah.
No, I mean, look.
He's totally delusional
The
too.
the Koreans know. The North Koreans know that if they do anything, they're all dead. Okay. So what? They've got one hydrogen bomb. They're going to test a hydrogen bomb. Oh, swell. Okay, and then they've got no hydrogen bombs, or maybe they've got one. Okay, we have 5,000 in our. We have 5,000 in our
That's after
arsenal.
extreme reduction of.
Yeah, that's after an extreme reduction in
We
forces.
only have the good bullets left.
Right, but you know, there have to be
Talking about
some.
the potential of Jehovah.
You know, there have to be some boomers that are hovering around Japan and Korea, and if they ever did that, one missile submarine of the United States could actually just destroy that country entirely. And certainly it would kill all the command and control of North Korea, including Kim Jong-il.